Have you noticed something lately? You walk toward the staircase in your home, you stop for just a moment, you look at the first step, and without even realizing it, your hand reaches for the railing, not because you're in terrible pain, not because you've suddenly become weak, but because something feels different. The confidence you once had has quietly faded. Maybe you've even started avoiding the stairs altogether. Perhaps you leave the laundry downstairs, ask someone else to bring things up, or tell yourself, I'll go upstairs later. But somehow, later never comes. If this sounds like you, please stay with me because today I'm going to share something that may completely change the way you think about climbing stairs after 70. Here's what most people are never told. Stairs are not just another form of walking. In fact, climbing stairs asks your body to perform one of the most demanding movements of everyday life. It requires balance, leg strength, joint control, and confidence all at the same time. The surprising part, many older adults in Japan continue climbing stairs, temple paths, and steep garden steps well into their 70s, 80s, and even their 90s, not because they discovered a miracle exercise, not because they spend hours in the gym, and certainly not because aging somehow skipped them. Instead, many have spent years practicing small daily habits that quietly prepare their bodies for movements like climbing stairs, simple habits, gentle habits, the kind almost anyone can begin at home. Today, you'll discover 3 of those Japanese-inspired morning habits. You'll also meet Robert, a 76-year-old retired history teacher from Portland, Oregon, a man who slowly stopped using the second floor of his own home, not because he wanted to, but because every staircase began to feel like a challenge he could no longer trust himself to face. His story may sound surprisingly familiar, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why the biggest problem isn't weak legs. It's something much more specific, and fortunately, something you may be able to improve with a few simple minutes each morning. But before I show you the first habit, you need to understand what really happens inside your body every time you climb a flight of stairs, because once you understand that, everything else will suddenly make perfect sense. Most people believe stairs become difficult simply because the legs get weak, but that is only part of the truth. Stairs are not the same as walking on flat ground. When you walk across your living room, both legs share the work. One foot moves forward, the other supports you, the floor stays level, your body does not have to lift itself very far. But stairs ask for something different. Every single step asks one leg to carry nearly your entire body weight, while the other leg lifts upward. For a brief moment, one leg has to do the work of two. That moment is where many seniors begin to feel uncertain, not because they are broken, not because they are too old, but because daily life no longer trains that exact movement. Most modern homes are flat, most sidewalks are flat, most shopping centers are flat, most chairs are high enough that you do not have to rise from the floor anymore, so the body slowly stops practicing the strength that stairs require. And there is another hidden challenge. Going downstairs can feel even harder than going up because climbing up requires strength, but coming down requires control. Your leg has to act like a brake. It must lower your body slowly without letting gravity pull you too fast. That controlled lowering is one of the first abilities many people lose confidence in after 70. And when confidence goes, the staircase changes. It stops feeling like part of the house. It starts feeling like something to negotiate with. Robert felt this before he could explain it. For 32 years, he taught high school history in Portland, Oregon. He spent his life walking hallways, climbing school stairs, standing in classrooms, and moving without thinking about it. Then retirement came. At first, he enjoyed the slower mornings. He had coffee with Susan, read the newspaper, worked a little in the basement, but slowly, the stairs began to feel different. The basement laundry stayed downstairs longer. The upstairs bedroom felt farther away. He started planning his day around avoiding the staircase, and like many people, he did not call it fear, he called it convenience, but the body knows the difference, and deep down, Robert knew too. The real problem was not the staircase. The real problem was that his body had stopped practicing the exact skill stairs demand, and that is where a small Japanese-inspired habit becomes so important. Imagine a quiet morning in Kyoto. The sun has only just begun to rise. A 79-year-old woman opens the sliding door of her home. She doesn't rush. She doesn't stretch dramatically. She doesn't begin a workout. Instead, she simply starts moving through her morning, one careful step onto a small wooden threshold, another step across smooth garden stones, then a few gentle steps toward the kitchen to prepare tea. To most people, these movements seem ordinary, but over thousands of mornings, they become something much more valuable. They become practice. Many traditional Japanese homes naturally include small level changes, raised entrances, garden paths, and low steps. These everyday features encourage gentle stepping, balance, and controlled movement throughout the day. The body doesn't know whether you're exercising, it only knows what you repeat, and every repeated movement quietly teaches the brain and muscles to trust each other again. That is one reason many Japanese inspired longevity habits focus on small, consistent daily movement instead of occasional intense exercise. The first habit you can begin tomorrow morning is called chair step prep. Sit in a sturdy chair. Place both feet flat on the floor. Sit tall, but stay relaxed. Now slowly lift your right knee until your foot leaves the floor. Raise it only as high as feels comfortable. Hold for 3 seconds, then lower it gently. Repeat with the left leg. 10 repetitions on each side. No rushing, no force, no pain. This simple movement gently wakes the muscles that help lift your leg onto each stair, your hip flexors, your quadriceps, and the small stabilizing muscles around your pelvis. Robert smiled the first time he tried it. He looked at Susan and said, "If this is the exercise, I think I can actually do it." But what happened 3 mornings later surprised him far more than the movement itself, because the second habit trains the exact moment that makes so many seniors hesitate before taking the very first step. The second habit is where the real stair training begins. It is called supported mini step up practice. And this is the movement many seniors avoid, not because it is hard, but because it feels a little uncertain at first. Find the bottom stair in your home, or use a very low, stable step. Stand facing it. Place one hand on the railing, or keep one hand on a wall or counter for support. Now place your right foot fully on the step. Shift your weight into that leg slowly. Pause for 2 seconds, then step back down with control. Now repeat with the left leg. 10 slow repetitions on each side. No rushing, no bouncing, no forcing. The slow pace is the training, because this is the exact moment stairs demand from your body. One leg holds you, the other leg moves, and your brain must feel safe during that moment. Robert began with both hands on the railing. At first, he moved so carefully that Susan almost said something, but she didn't. She simply watched from the kitchen, and after 2 weeks, she noticed something. Robert went down to the basement, picked up a small laundry basket, and came back up. No announcement, no celebration, just one ordinary moment that had not happened in months, but there was still one part of the staircase he did not fully trust: going down, and that is where the third habit becomes the most important one. Robert never told Susan the real reason. He simply stopped sleeping upstairs. For nearly 8 months, the downstairs sofa became his bedroom. When Susan asked why, he smiled and said, "It's just easier this way." She didn't argue. After 44 years of marriage, she knew the difference between an excuse and the truth. The truth was not pain. The truth was uncertainty. It wasn't the staircase itself. It was the thought that appeared every evening before climbing it. What if my legs don't feel steady tonight? That single question quietly changed his routine. Then it changed his home. Then, without realizing it, it changed his life, because stairs are never just stairs. They are the bedroom where you sleep, the laundry room downstairs, the workshop you've loved for years, the guest room where your grandchildren laugh when they visit. When stairs begin to feel uncertain, life doesn't suddenly become smaller. It becomes smaller one floor at a time. That is why many physical therapists encourage practicing everyday movements, not only to build strength, but to help maintain confidence and independence in daily life. After several weeks of practicing his morning routine, Robert noticed something unexpected. He wasn't thinking about every single step anymore. His hands still touched the railing. He still moved carefully, but the fear that had been riding beside him on every staircase was becoming quieter. One evening, Susan walked upstairs and found Robert sitting in their bedroom reading a book. She smiled. "I was wondering when I'd find you back up here." Robert looked around the room, then quietly replied, "It finally feels like my house again." Those words had nothing to do with stairs. They had everything to do with freedom. And the final lesson may be the most important one of all, because the goal isn't to become younger. The goal is to help your body keep doing the ordinary things that make life feel like your own. Your body has not forgotten stairs. It may simply need the right practice to remind it. Not hard practice, not painful practice, the right practice. A chair, a railing, a single step, and 10 quiet minutes before the day begins. Chair step prep, supported mini step ups, slow controlled step downs, small movements, done safely, done slowly, done every morning. That is the kind of habit many Japanese-inspired longevity routines are built around. Not intensity, consistency, not force, attention, not proving something, preparing your body for the life you still want to live. Tomorrow morning, try it gently, hold the rail, move slowly, stop if anything feels painful, dizzy, or unsafe, and give your body time to remember, because one day you may walk toward the stairs, place your hand on the railing, and realize something feels different. Not perfect, not effortless, just less uncertain than yesterday, a little steadier, a little calmer, a little more yours. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Stair difficulty can have many causes, including arthritis, balance problems, vision changes, neuropathy, heart issues, medications, muscle weakness, or recent falls. Always speak with your doctor or healthcare professional before starting a new movement routine, especially if you have pain, dizziness, falls, or serious balance concerns. Now comment the word Japan below and tell me this. Do stairs feel harder for you going up, going down, or both? I read every comment. Share this video with someone who has started avoiding stairs, and subscribe to Ageless Daily 50 for simple Japanese-inspired longevity wisdom every week. Robert's house feels bigger again. Yours can too.